It's Friday night, everybody. You know what that means. It's Friday night. Let's have some fun. Let's get together and play a ton.
Hi, I'm Matt.
And I'm John.
And we're
Friday Night Games.
And we want to immerse you into our love of the hobby by educating and entertaining you through our board gaming adventures. Our podcast lands every Friday, and we create content for Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
This episode is sponsored by TabletopRenaissance.ca, located in our hometown of Windsor, Ontario, Canada. They have a web store, so check out TabletopRenaissance.ca for your board game and tabletop miniature needs.
Hi, everyone. So welcome to Episode 3 of Friday Night Games Last Game Standing. Woo-hoo. Starting with 5 games and 5 amazing content creators, a game will be voted off each week until there's only one game left.
On the last show, we had guest Room 51, where it ended in a tie.
Oh,
and
you know what that means.
Yeah, so when there's a tie, Matt actually gets to vote in his own competition.
Yeah.
Yeah, way to screw it over there, Matt.
And I voted us off.
And Matt voted our game off, Castles of Tuscany. So we're immediately out of this race.
Which sucks because the theme of this episode is theme, and we had a really funny one.
It's funny.
But you're going to hear it anyway, but whatever.
We also had some good conversations about Wingspan. Make sure you check out the last 2 episodes to see where we're at with this.
Yeah, they're real good. Yeah. They're real good. So on today's show, we are joined by 2 very special guests, Jason and Julie of Dice and Dragons. Welcome. Woo!
Hello.
Hey, been waiting to be here for a while.
Oh,
thank you for joining.
Have you on for a while, so this is very exciting for us. So today, they're going to help us vote off one of 4 games that are left, which are Fort, elected by Girl Meets Nerd, Merv, elected by Bridge City Board Gamers, Rallyman GT, elected by Room 51, and Aeon's End Outcast, elected by our guests. All right.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be voting that one off.
Wizards, End of the World, cooperative, it's like right up our alley, so I'm not voting that one on.
Fair enough. Okay, so Jason, Julie, tell everyone where they could find you.
What are your sweet dulcet tones?
You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram at Dice and Dragons, and on Twitter at Dice and Dragon, because apparently Jason forgot the S.
No, I couldn't get it for some reason. I don't even remember why, but I couldn't get it. It's just so long ago.
That's hilarious.
I think there's a limit because we have Friday Night GMS.
Yeah, we couldn't get it all in there either. We weren't even Friday Night GMS at first. Weren't we like something else too?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. Who cares? My brain's so small I don't remember anything. Okay, well, we wanted to have both of you on the show since January. How do you feel about that?
Oh, very special and honored. Really happy to finally be on the show. We love the show.
Thank you.
Jason's been telling me forever. Yeah, we're gonna do something with Friday Night Games. I keep asking, when's that gonna happen? We haven't figured that out yet.
I feel like I don't know. It's just like having a guest on is a lot of work. I'm sure you know too.
Yeah.
Because usually we have to be a little bit more planned out than normal. Like I know I didn't do it for this episode, but normally I write out this whole script and I make sure everyone knows all the questions that they're going in, so they're not surprised. Yeah.
Surprise makes for that much better an episode.
Well, I don't want to know your answers. I just want you to have a little bit of prep so you're not taken aback. You know what I mean?
No, I know. We know because we've done a few episodes with guests. Not that many, but it definitely takes a lot more work, especially if you're bringing someone on and you're actually in the same location. Then it's even more work.
Oh yeah. And then we've been actually podcasting remotely for almost 6 months, which really messed up our plans. Because when you have a guest on, it's even harder because I'm recording through 2 laptops, and if John is on Discord and he talks, then that gets into the audio, and it really messes things up.
Yeah.
For Kevin, the editor. So there's another.
Well, I was on your show a few weeks ago. We were talking about Kickstarter and Marvel United. So that was fun. I had a good time. We were talking with BC Board Gamers as well.
Yeah, we had Brian from BC Board Gamers on, and that was a lot of fun just talking about Kickstarter excess or value. That was our inaugural episode, and I've done another one since with BC Boardgamers and also Meeple Dungeon, who is on What You've Been Playing Wednesdays with us as well. And really just had a lot of fun talking with you about Marvel United. And, it's come up again on one of the Twitter conversations I was having. I think the game's got 18 expansions, and it's literally not even a year old. Like, I don't... Is that excess? Is that value? I mean, that's up for the view, the person purchasing the game to decide, but I'm leaning towards excess. 18 expansions in under a year?
I guess it depends on how much that costs. Is that $1,800 or is it, I guess even if it's $500, it seems like a lot, right?
It might be $1,800 US when you can, well, I mean Canadian, because our money is just play money in some countries.
Oh, I know. I get my paychecks come in American, so I have to convert it every time.
Well, that's the right way to go. The other way around.
I have to follow the exchange rate, Julie. I'm like, when it goes down, I'm like, oh, I just lost money. It's actually like pretty like, my heart's always going wildly when payday comes around. Like, what's going to happen to me?
Hopefully it keeps going in the right direction for you. But that's not good for us because then we can buy less games.
But if anybody wants to catch that episode that we had from a few weeks ago, you can find it on our YouTube channel, right?
Yes.
Awesome. And that's also Dice and Dragons, or is that the link on it? Yep. Perfect.
Yep. You can find it at our standard YouTube channel. So we've got the nice Dice and Dragons name because we got our 100 subscribers before someone else stole it. And there is another Dice and Dragons out there. They're apparently a game store somewhere in the US. And every so often I get people asking me where their order is. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Didn't you read our Facebook page, Twitter? It says we make videos, don't sell you stuff.
Answer.
Yeah, I should just start selling them stuff. I don't know.
It's on the way. That's terrible. Yeah, definitely don't do that.
I gave it to somebody,
Yeah,
its way.
Yeah, we sent it on the curling rink. Sent it your way.
All right, so I have a question. What did you guys think of Matt's hipster list of games that he sent you to choose one from?
Well, we were going through the list, and I was talking with Julie, and she looked at everything. She was like, "Where's Arnak? Where's Imperium? Where are those games that I actually played in 2020 that I want to talk about?" I go, "Well, they're not on there." I go, "Well, there's Aeons and Outcast," and we were discussing about maybe suggesting a different game, but looking at the other games we wanted to suggest from 2020, we figured that was probably the best one that most people had heard of.
Wait.
So you did have a good pick for us.
What was the other games? I'm just curious if you remember.
We were looking at Tokyo Sidekick. We were thinking about Journeys in Middle Earth, but that was more of an expansion than a game. And we've been crossing off expansions from like top 10s and things like that. Other than that, what was the other one we were looking at? Trying to think, what was another one? We had a Cowboy Bebop Space Serenade, which
that wouldn't have been one of my picks.
Oh,
that would have been his pick.
Okay. So yeah, that makes sense if you're doing it together. Because I was gonna say, I thought you really liked it, but that must have been Jason who really liked it.
No, she really liked it, but she wanted to have a chance to reevaluate it. She wasn't sure she liked it as much as anymore.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I did enjoy it, but Jason's the bigger Cowboy Bebop fan.
Fair enough. So you need to watch the episodes first before you make the decision.
Again, just to double check, right? I mean, especially once you play so many games, being a content creator, sometimes your scoring shifts rather drastically as you play a game. You're like, wow, I'm going to give this game like an 8, but I gave that previous game I reviewed 2 years ago that's similar an 8, but it really should now be a 6 because this game is just that much better.
Right. It's like a review of the games. I like that.
Yeah.
Been doing this for 3 years now. At some point, you got to go back and say, okay, when I started, my opinion, if I go back and do what I did 3 years ago, I probably would have a different opinion of games, but we can't redo all of our videos,
That's true.
Yeah, I agree. Or you could do like a segment where you like take your video and you like review your review. There you go.
That might be something new to try, definitely. We've been doing some look backs. We haven't gotten as many done as we would like because we've been just very busy. But it was one of the ones we did was the Reckoners game, and that one actually held up. We liked it just as much as we did originally.
Awesome.
So on that note, what was the top game you played in 2020? It could be released in 2020, so it could be like a 2019 game, or it could even be something you played at the very beginning of 2021, because it seems like that's when all the 2020 games were released anyway.
Especially in Canada.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's delayed. I've got a Kickstarter that's on the way that was supposed to have been picked up like a month ago. Now they're like, oh, by the way, QML's coming to the factory to get it. So you're supposed to get it in June. Now it's going to be August. I'm like, really? And to top it off, they're launching their Kickstarter for the expansion. I'm like, so wait, their expansion will be done. I don't even have my game. That's the joys of being Canadian and being a board gamer.
But that being said, we did do an actual top 10 of our favorite games of 2020.
Yes, we did.
And the winner was Tokyo Sidekick.
By Japan.A Games.
I think I did watch that. That was early. That was like very beginning of the year, right? Like
Yes.
January. Yes. Okay, I did watch that.
It was a little after January, I think, but not that far afterwards is when we started working with them, and we absolutely love the game. If you enjoy games like Pandemic, where you're moving around the board having to deal with problems, but
That's a bad example because I hate Pandemic.
theme of Pandemic, you don't like destroying disease. It's totally different when you're saving.
I do every day
Yes.
in my real life. No, but honestly, one of the reasons we loved Tokyo Sidekick, or at least I loved it, is just the look of it. It's awesome. Do we have a deluxe version?
We've got the acrylic standees.
Yeah, that just made the whole difference for me. Like using those acrylic standees were just made the game that much more fun to play. Honestly, when Jason pulled it out, I'm like, another anime theme? Really? But it was a lot of fun and we played it a lot.
Yeah.
And then I was like, do I really want to admit how much I like this game? But it was really good. It's one of my, honestly, it was a surprise for me.
I feel like that happens a lot when you go in with like low expectations of something. You're always going to be a little bit happier in the end, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a few surprises this year. I mean, in terms of what we played, like
You mean 2021 or 2020?
what we played in 2021. And what's funny is it's gone both ways. There's been games where we thought would be great, and there's been games that we were absolutely terrible. Like Umbrella Academy, Kill It With Fire. That's not even a game. Just play war with a deck of cards. Save yourself a ton of money. That game should be burnt, and all the designers should be shamed and never make anything again.
Wow, Jason, don't say that. I don't want. Wow.
See, you know what?
Jason's opinion, it may not represent your opinion.
You know what? I'm
true.
actually glad that came to me because I was watching the show as I realized that game was on Kickstarter. I was like, oh, I should back it because I'm like a really big fan of the show. I like the comic books, but I wasn't sure how it was gonna play out, so I like didn't back it. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll get the retail version if it ever hits retail. But I haven't heard good things about it, so
Oh, that happens.
yeah.
I think you already sold that game, huh?
Oh, that game actually left the collection before we finished the review. It was like sold, and we finished reviewing it, and then it was gone the next day. That's how quickly I wanted to get rid of it.
That's turnover. I guess you might as well get rid of it now, right? Where the FOMO is pretty high for it, right?
Yeah.
So
Kill it
That's
with
pretty much
fire.
what it was. But to give you an idea, part of the real problem is they released an updated rule book in September, but only in a Kickstarter update. It's not in the box. They didn't send it to anyone. Basically, they pushed the game out and realized, oh, this game is unplayable at certain player counts. Here's a rule book, but you've got to download it and print it yourself. And people literally asked, will you send us a new rule book? And they're like, no, just download the new one. And I'm just thinking of like retail backers. You know, John would be buying the game and he'd get the rule book and be like, I'm going to try this out solo. And you pick up your hand of cards. You look at the hand, you have to defeat, and you go, I literally lost the game and I just picked up my hand of cards. Rule book for this game.
wow, that's crazy.
Hilarious.
What game? Sorry, repeat that game name. I missed the game name.
That's the Umbrella Academy
Umbrella
game.
Umbrella Academy.
Yeah,
Okay, makes sense.
So it's going both ways, but real nice surprises to turn it to a more positive note with games that Julie actually enjoyed a lot more than she thought she would. Dune Imperium.
Yes, that is a
Lost in
great game.
Divine.
That's a great. It's kind of sad because those. I mean, they're 2020 games, but they like honestly, no one played them until 2021. You couldn't even get a hold of them until 2021.
Yeah.
Or like Dwellings of Eldervale. Mine's still on order. I'm never getting that game.
No.
I remember you talking about that, I think 6 months ago in an episode saying it was
Yeah,
on order about to arrive.
Yeah.
401 Games did a pre-order, and I'm like, all right, I pre-ordered it. But you know what? 401 Games, I think they hate me. I ordered Honey Buzz. This is a true story. I ordered Honey Buzz, and I actually recommended it to a friend at work. They ordered Honey Buzz a week later. They got their game on the following Monday. I had to call them up and be like, hey, my friend actually ordered this game.
After me.
Yeah, after me, and got it. And they're like, oh, that's weird. That's all they said. I'm like, oh, come on, man.
Worse.
I hope you're not sponsored by 401, because no, we're not.
They should make it up and sponsor us. Just good.
They need to. They should. I mean, after forgetting your game, that's what they owe you, a sponsorship.
Yeah, free games here.
All right, are you all ready to vote a game off?
We are definitely all ready to vote a game off.
All
right. So Matt did the honors of voting us off last week. So as a recap, we've got Rallyman GT, Aeons on Outcast, Fort, and Merv left on the docket.
The question of today's episode that we're going to discuss is, what is the theme of the game? Why does the theme of the game pull you into playing that game? And that theme could include art, story, and we want you to describe it, describe why it's amazing, or in our case of the game, our game got voted off because it's a Euro game, why it was terrible. So let's listen to those right now.
I'm Jason.
I'm Julie, and together we're Dice and Dragons. So we picked Eon's End Outcast because we at Dice and Dragons love this kind of theme. And what is the theme? It is mages, monsters, rituals, spells.
Not really any rituals. Well, some characters do some terrible rituals in the story, but it's not part of the gameplay.
Okay, so yes, there are some.
There are no rituals.
Oh, okay.
You're thinking completely about another game, which unfortunately was not on the list, which I guess it wasn't a 2020 game.
Okay.
Though. It's Folklore the Affliction that has the rituals.
No, I was thinking about the cards, but that's okay. The theme relics, that's what I read.
Relics aren't rituals, Julie. You hold a relic, you've got to do stuff and move around for a ritual.
Well, I'll use a relic on you soon if you don't. So we like the theme of basically fighting a big bad that's an arcane beast that's come through the mesh and fabric of space, time, and magic.
Okay, so why don't I explain the theme in such a way that it's concise, and we'll go with the story, because I read...
Are you trying to say I'm not concise?
Not with that explanation, no. Sorry.
Okay.
Aeon's End is a post-apocalyptic fantasy settings. What's happened is the world has ended. And this is, I believe, the 5th game in the series Outcast. So you finally ventured beyond the last city of Gravehold, which was actually destroyed in one of the previous installments, Legacy. But what has happened is these evil demonic beings have come through from another realm, a portal, and they destroyed the world. Humanity was forced into hiding underground and harnessing the power of these portals, also known as breaches, to learn magic and defend the last bastion of humanity, which is Gravehold. Now, throughout the series, you become different breach mages, you learn different skills, abilities, spells, use different relics, and as the story progresses, eventually humanity loses the last city of Gravehold and returns to the surface and finds that the world has recovered since the apocalypse. In New Age, you start venturing forth from the city of New Gravehold, which is founded not far from the old city. And in Outcast, you're dealing with some of the people that have now since left New Gravehold, started their own settlements, and, also don't quite agree with the leadership of New Gravehold, and you get to meet an old friend / foe that then joins your party that you must defend, and also has some pretty cool powers and abilities that let you, cause some damage to the nemesis and their minions.
I think you were, yes, I agree with you. You were much more concise than I was about what this is. But, I did talk about, I call them portals, but they're breaches. They're a lot of fun.
Yes, and why is this theme amazing? Why do we have 5 Aeon's End games? Why do they get all the promo packs? Why am I getting the 6th one and probably the 7th one, which I hear is going to end the story, or there might be an 8th. I don't know, but I'd like the story to end at some point.
I don't think it's just the theme. We like this kind of theme. We have a lot of games about, magic and mystic and, supernatural. We have a lot of that. But I think it's the combination of the theme and the gameplay, the way the mechanics work that just make this, very pleasant and fun to play. We both like games where we can play with a little bit of strategy, so I think this is, one of those reasons.
And I really like the art as well. We did not have first edition, thank God. The art was terrible, and they upgraded everything for the second edition of the game, which is very cool. And I also like the fact that you've got a very diverse cast of characters, from the leader of the Mages of Gravehold being Brahma, the matriarch. So you've got a lot of women, a lot of men. You've got a lot of different races represented in this last bastion of humanity. And I think
a lot of different looks too.
Yes, that's what I meant. So,
well, I mean, not just skin color, but a lot of different ways that different looks and you could say cultural aspects as well.
So they think they just did a really good job of capturing, what the last city would look like. It's basically all types of people from all walks of life that got together, huddled together, banded together to, survive the end of the world. And they were able to. So we really love Aeon's End. If you like fantasy, if you like post-apocalyptic settings, you really got to check this game out. If you don't want to get the box for the game, you can get the original game on iTunes, because they do have the digital version out now. It's a great way to get a taste of it, but suffice it to say, this is one of our favorites and will never be leaving the collection. Well, maybe not never, but it will be around for a very long time.
I think that's it for theme, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it for theme. So we're going to get out of here. That's the end of episode 3.
Hi there, I'm Megan.
And I'm Tristan.
And we're from the Girl Meets Nerd podcast, here to convince you that Fort by Leader Games is the best board game of 2020 and should be the last board game standing. Today we're talking about the theme. So what is the theme of this game?
You're playing as kids trying to build a fort. In order to make your fort the best fort that it can be, you have to collect the best toys and have the most pizza.
Oh my gosh, this is the dream. I just want to be a kid running around collecting toys and pizza. Come on.
In collecting the pizza and the toys, you're trying to attract other kids to come and hang out at your fort. The more friends that you have at your fort, the better your fort is. And you're trying to keep those friends in your fort.
I love this. This theme is so funny, first of all. It comes through in every single aspect of the game. One of the strengths of Leader Games in general is just their ability to make a theme come totally through the game. So the theme is in the art. All of the art is kids, and even the kids are divided into different factions. So you've got the crafting kids who love glue and drawing and stickers, and then you've got the military kids who are loaded up with water guns and all sorts of crazy little wagon tanks. And then you've got the skaters. They've got little mohawk helmets on and skateboards. And then the last group is the bookworms.
The nerds.
Yeah. Oh wait, no, I think there's a fourth one. There's the nerds.
That's 4. The military kids, the nerds, the crafty kids, and the skateboard kids.
And then there's a 5th faction, which is the digging kids. So it's really, really funny to kind of think about the way that kids would act on a playground. That's what all of these kids are meant to represent the stereotypes of. So this theme, again, really comes through in all of the aspects of the game. Part of the playing mechanics of the game is that when you get to a certain point or you score a certain amount of points on your fort, you get a perk, which is a special reward. So some of the perks... Let me just read you them. So some of the perks include Sticky Fingers, which lets you take extra supplies. You can have a birthday party where you recruit extra friends. Roughhousing, so you trash the cards of other players. You could get an extra large backpack. So all of these perks are basically extra bonuses that you get for reaching certain points in the game. And they're all very thematic to how kids would act on a playground. It also comes through in another way, which is the made-up rules card. And the made-up rules basically give you a secret goal to reach by the end of the game. But again, it's so funny. It's a made-up rule. Kids are oh, well, actually, tag is played this way instead of this way.
And you only reveal it at the end when maybe you're falling behind, and then you need to make up a rule to get you more points.
Yeah, actually, I was it all along.
Actually, I collected more pizzas than you did at the beginning of the game, so that means that I get 10 extra points.
Oh my gosh, hilarious. Yes. It's so good. And I love that aspect of the theme.
This theme is amazing to me, and I think to you, because it's so different from any other theme that I've played in a board game.
Oh, for sure.
There's tons of unique themes out there, but generally they kind of follow very trends, keeping up with trends or classic themes or whatever. But I've never played a board game where the idea is that you're playing as kids trying to make the most popular fort.
Absolutely.
And I love that.
Me too. And not only that, but like these kids are ruthless. Like this isn't like kids building a play structure and whoever gets the biggest one wins. It's like they're fighting nitty gritty, dirty games to like steal each other's friends and, backstab and steal resources. Like this is like that play fort in, what is it, Disney's Recess?
Recess, yeah.
Who are the people who run the play fort?
Oh, I can't remember. King?
It's like the Heathers or the Ashleys or something.
I think the Ashleys. And then there's the king of the play fort.
Yeah, it's like very dirty, sketchy kind of play that's going on there. So I love that really comes through in the theme.
Overall, the theme hits the marks that I love. I mean, it's awesome. And it comes through in the gameplay. The things that you're doing line up with what the theme is, and it kind of makes you feel like you're doing those things. It's not just an arbitrary theme slapped on top of a arbitrary game mechanic.
Absolutely. And the theme is one of the strongest points I think Fort has for the reason that we believe that it should be the last board game standing of 2020.
Hey there, we're back. This is Norm from Cardboard Conjecture.
I'm Ryan from Cardboard Conjecture.
This is segment 3, question 3. Thank you, Friday Night Games, for inviting us for participating in this. And I hope we got this far with pitching our favorite unsung hero game, Merv, Heart of the Silk Road. So, Ryan, what's this whole segment about? We got 5 minutes to talk about
the theme of Merv, Heart of the Silk Road.
Which is kind of ironic because it's a Euro. And as we all know, Euros are really famous for theme.
Right. We always joke that my favorite Euro games are just pasted on themes. But I don't think that's the case in this game. Let's take it away.
No. Okay, so the theme of this game, I mean, it's in the title, right? Merv, Heart of the Silk Road. Historically speaking, it's accurate. I mean, this was a city. I think in the book, the rule book, they do a great job on establishing the context of what the theme is and what the purpose is and the relevance of it. And again, which is hard for a Euro to associate, mechanisms and theme. This theme does a really good job because of how it coincides with the tracks. Like there's the mosque track. There's the palace, not necessarily track, but end of game multipliers. There's the building of the wall track. There's the marketplace. There's the camel ones. I can never get this.
The caravansary.
The caravansary, right? All of those elements are an economic function of how prosperous this city was. It required a delicate balance of all of those influence from a history. I'm a history teacher, so from a history teacher's point of view, those are all relevant items that contribute to what this game was about, was the prosperity of that time of this city. And I think,
and it wasn't trading on the Mediterranean.
No, it wasn't. It was inland. There was no water, right? But again, this isn't really about cube pushing. This is more about developing, like city building, I think, because each person takes turns starting up parts of the city and creating that economic engine, I guess.
Yeah, because it's all about, we are actually just figures trying to assert our influence into the creation and the defense too, of Merv too, because Merv was ransacked by Mongols quite repeatedly all the time because it was the greatest city in the world.
It was rich,
and everybody wanted their piece.
Yeah,
piece of the pie. So no,
legally or illegally. So I mean, I think the Mongol raids, which happens in year 2 and year 3, I think the Mongol raids are
a good indicator of the idea that you're not just in it for yourself, you're also in it for the people that are part of that city. And a lot of the times
your influence by defending other people's properties.
And that's part of one of those tracks is the points that you get for protecting other people. You get more points up this track that, again, Euros, it's all about trying to maximize the potential of all those tracks. And I like how they
being more influential. Being more influential allowed you to fulfill more contracts, do a little bit more trading.
Yeah. I like how that mechanism brought you out of that solitary kind of idea where, no. I'm going to put my building in amongst your buildings because I want to build a wall there to protect me mostly, but also to get, extra points for protecting you in the same, situation. So I think the theme
and the artwork brings it out beautifully.
Oh,
this is a work of art when you visually look at it.
Yeah. Tool, kudos, congratulations, because this is such a joy to look at. And the color palette, I believe, again, I'm not an art history person, but it draws me to that time, that era, that culture.
Vibrant.
Yeah, it pulls me. It is one of the elements that helps draw you in for that ability to buy into the theme. So
perfect. So that is the theme
of Merv, which is Merv, Heart of the Silk. Yeah, awesome.
Merv. Merv
is the word.
That has nothing to do with the theme.
No. So that was about 5 minutes. Cool. we did 5 minutes on theme on a Euro game.
What is up? My name is Matthew McCack, and I'm here with my brother, Justin Maycat.
Hey, everybody.
We are Room 51, where we talk all things board gaming, and we are talking about the theme of Rallyman GT. What pulled us in? Justin, what was it? What pulled us into this game?
It's kind of interesting. I guess the one big thing was the rally aspect of it, that they decided to go with rally racing. I love Formula One, don't get me wrong, but I play a lot of F1 video games and stuff. So seeing a rally board game made me kind of excited, and then just racing in general. But I think the biggest thing that pulled me in was that you get to build your own track. The tiles that to connect however you like, and you get to build your own track. As a racing fan, it's really cool to be able to look up and see how, okay, this is how people built Silverstone or Monza or Spa, Monaco. Seeing how people build all these awesome tracks and try to build it myself and see, okay, this is, maybe I want to change it here. No, that's not what Monaco's hairpin would be like. It's much more like this style. All that kind of stuff really pulls me into the game as a racing fan.
Yeah, for me, so I'm not as big of a racing fan as Justin is, but I do like racing in board games. So for this one in particular, when I first saw it, now we've only played it on Board Game Geek. We have never actually played the physical version, which is really unfortunate, but I'm looking at pictures here, and it comes with these little miniature cars, and I think somebody painted these, unless they actually somebody painted these, and they look like little toy cars, which is so cool. Like, me and Justin as kids used to play with these little toy cars, right? So now you're playing around with an actual game that is good, and I love that. I don't know. I love just like making it around the lap, trying to figure out like, okay, how am I going to like make this corner and everything? It's puzzly with that push your luck mechanism involved. So I don't know. That's what drew me into this game for Rallyman GT.
Awesome.
And I guess we'll catch you on the next episode. Thank you. Have a good one.
Okay, everyone, that is great. So I'm going to have everyone write down or just mentally write down what game they want to vote off. So just so everyone knows, Jason and Julie, each of you get your own vote this time. Normally you get one vote together, but this time you get separate votes. And John, you have your vote. So when everyone's ready, just let me know.
I just want to chime in before we vote.
Yeah.
So Room 51 didn't even actually play their game.
Oh, hey,
that's
you
BS.
can't do that. You can talk about it later. We can talk about it after.
That's BS.
We got to talk about it after.
No, they want to vote. They want to vote our game off. Yeah.
Okay.
I can guarantee we played several games of our game. Many.
Matt and I went through the trouble. We actually didn't play all the games for real either, but
We played them all on Tabletopia.
yeah.
Or Tabletop Simulator.
But the game we championed, we own.
We own most of them.
Yes.
So-
That's all I have to say about that. Rule
Okay.
51.
Wow.
There's quite a few of them that are on our list, but we definitely haven't played all of the games that were discussed.
No, that's okay. As discussed in episode 1, that's fine. We're all board game reviewers, so I trust everybody.
Yeah.
You know what Jason's going to vote off?
I don't know what you're going to vote off. I'm curious to see what you should do. I mean, also, this is a podcast with... We should let the lady go first, gentlemen. What do you think?
Yeah, I was
I
just going to
agree,
say
yeah.
the guests go first.
So do I have to say why I'm voting it off, or just say it and...
I would love for you to tell me why.
Okay, so I'm going to do this the way I do our review. So I'm going to say that I'm voting off Merv.
Okay.
And I'm going to explain the reason why the others weren't voted off. So obviously I'm not voting off Aeon's End because it's just an awesome theme and it's just amazing. We're not going to go into that again. But I'm also a Formula One fan. I'm a racing fan. So I can't vote off the racing game. And well, Fort, I mean, we have the little one at home and it just sounded like a lot of fun compared to the other one. So Merv just kind of has to go.
Okay, I got to interject here. It might sound like a lot of fun, but I think you would hate that game with a passion. Just so you know.
Let me just put it this way. So neither of you played Merv, correct?
No.
Okay. It is like a really, really heavy Euro game. Have you played Tekinu?
No, but probably the closest game that we've played that's a heavy Euro is CO2.
I was going to say, is it like CO2?
Ooh, I haven't played CO2. Let's just say this. You have rules in the game, and then each rule has a whole nother rule.
Yeah, it's similar to CO2, except
Okay.
it's cooperative, so it's a little easier to handle, but it's one of Vitalis Serta's games.
But I will note we're voting off based on theme anyway. So
Yes.
so if you think the answer for the theme was, not sufficient, then that's your choice.
That's my call, and I get to have a different opinion from Jason, so we'll see if he has the same opinion as me.
I like to see when you guys are trying to vote together. It must be really funny.
It is definitely pretty funny, but I definitely have a different opinion this time because we do have the little guy, and as much as I think Fort is a cool and interesting game, I think it also highlights all of the evil things that kids do to each other. Why do I want to play an evil child and try to build the best fort and do take that and stab friends in the back? We don't need to be teaching people this stuff. We need to be bringing people together and cooperating and saving the world. It's like, that's what you're doing in Aeon's End. That's why we picked it.
I like how you're selling your game right now too. I like how you're selling it. It's awesome.
The only reason why I'm voting off Fort is I feel like the game also kind of made this big gigantic splash. It was Fort, and all of a sudden 30 days later it's like, where's Fort? No one's talking about it anymore. It vanished off the radar.
It really
I thought
did,
you-
yeah. It honestly, I was thinking back. We got it when it first came out. We played it for a month, and then you just heard nothing about it, which is actually kind of sad because it is a very good game. It is actually a very good game.
So if Fort gets voted off because of you don't get to come into our treehouse because that's our fort. So the little guy and I will be in the treehouse.
See, look, she's doing everything that's bad about it. It's being exclusive and making rules and taking,
I take no prisoners.
Yeah,
I take no prisoners.
Take that mechanics.
Yeah,
Nice.
That's what
I
happened.
love it.
What about you?
Unhappy wife, unhappy life.
Exactly. I go by that too.
I think I know I talked smack about Room 51 earlier, but I'm actually going to keep their game in.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Fort with this one.
Whoa.
So the reason why, especially because we're talking about theme, there was a review I read of Fort, and they mentioned that no one would put pizza in their backpack, and and he ruined the game for this guy. And ever since I listen to that review,
Get out of here.
that's all I think about when I think about playing Fort. I was like, yeah, I would never put pizza in my backpack. What a dumb thing. And with Jason's point, yeah, it's very exclusive. I'm the better friend. Come over to my side. It's like a terrible game of Red Rover, which we weren't allowed to play at grade school anyway because it was too violent. So I'm gonna go with Fort because I don't put pizza in my backpack.
Wow. Wow, this is actually why is this okay. So I'm gonna reveal what everyone voted for. So right now we have 2 votes for Fort, 1 for Merv, and then we have Girl Meets Nerd voted for Aeon's End. Bridge City Board Gamers voted for Rallyman GT, and Room 51 voted for Aeon's End. There you go.
So you're just gonna be voting every episode.
Yeah,
I think.
I'm like the tiebreaker. I'm the tiebreaker. So, well, I mean, you have to convince me. Why should I vote Fort over Aeon's End?
Why should you not vote Aeon's End over Fort?
Yes.
So we talked about it in our theme video, but Aeon's End Outcast is definitely, I would say, the best version of the game. You're working together. It is the most innovative cooperative deck builder that there is because you do not shuffle your cards. So that alone really gives you a ton of strategy. Card playing and card placement on your breaches to cast spells is a lot of fun. And this game, instead of defending just Gravehold, you're actually defending, a little bit of a spoiler, so anyone that wants to just skip ahead, you're defending Zaxos, a fallen mage who's now come back into the fold, and he's got all sorts of cool, awesome abilities. So you're together, you're awesome mages, you're blowing everything up, you're finding these nemesis that are threatening the entire world. You've just reclaimed the surface after being underground for centuries, and it's so dripping rich with theme. It's also just so highly regarded as a deck builder that I think it's probably the best cooperative deck builder that there is on the market.
And I love the fact that it's so inclusive. There's women, there's men, there's old women, young women, all kinds of colors. It's really, I honestly think it's one of the most inclusive games that we've played.
And they've developed this story through multiple games, even though it's fairly story light. What starts in Aeon's End goes all the way through into Outcast. You're now going into the next expansion, which is Legacy of Gravehold, and they're even incorporating 2 different sides of the stories. Like, there won't be any PvP elements, but there's like 2 different factions, and you can play through the story different times. So it's a great part, this awesome puzzle and this amazing story that's been going for a lot of years. And Indie Boards and Cards has just put so much time and effort into building something that's lasted a long time.
The relics are just awesome.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Aeon's End. I love it. I actually think it's a game everyone should play. It's not, I guess I shouldn't say it's for everybody because you have to read all the cards. So if you hate reading cards, you're not going to like it. But then you could also argue Fort is the same thing. If you don't like reading cards, you're not going to like Fort either. People would argue you're not reading, you're using symbols, but I disagree. Now, Aeon's End theme-wise, I'm going to go with, I actually think it has an advantage because it's set in its own world and there's it keeps introducing more characters. You said there's a fallen mage in this one. I know that fallen mage was in a previous one, and it's basically world building to the extreme. So you can't really argue its theme is terrible. Fort, on the other hand, I actually really like the theme of Fort, but both of you bring up a very good point. John did, and then so did the 2 of you about the inclusivity, right?
Exclusivity.
Yes.
Or it's Lord of the Flies.
Yeah. Oh man, this is it's a tough decision. But I mean, I'm trying to base it solely on theme. I'm actually gonna have to vote Fort off. So unfortunately, Fort, we're kicking you off because of your exclusivity that I have now understood. So there you go. Aeon's End lives another round.
Yay!
Yeah, wow, that's crazy. Okay, so we already know that Castles of Tuscany was voted off, so let's give that a quick listen to. Man, okay, I don't know what Matt's thinking. Matt is me. So, what is the theme of Castles of Tuscany, and what does the theme of Castles of Tuscany pull you into playing the game, John?
All right, so Matt, I want you to close your eyes and remember us playing Castles of Tuscany.
Yeah.
Didn't you feel...
Yeah, nobody put that down. Sorry.
Don't you feel like you are in the Italian Renaissance?
No.
Did you feel like an influential prince that was building your region into a flourishing domain?
No, I actually felt like a whiny prince trying to tell Novi not to take my pieces before I had a chance.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's a Euro game. So does the theme super matter to this game?
I don't think the theme matters. I mean, the game isn't the most pretty, although I actually think it's prettier than Burgundy.
Uh-huh.
But you're trying to create a region in Tuscany that people want to live. I guess that's kind of the theme to me. And this is the most like, this is so European. It is such a Euro game. It like fits the description. The art is like really sucks.
Ouch. Way to sell the game, Matt. Way to
Oh,
sell the
yeah.
game.
Well, the player boards are nice, but the pieces are very nice. Look, I'm not gonna look. You're gonna vote for this. You're not gonna vote this game off. Oops, I almost said you're gonna vote this game off. You're not gonna vote this game off. Okay, and the art does suck, but it's still a good game.
All right, so how did the theme of this game get you to play at first?
I guess we have to turn this question around, dude. The theme is super important here, right? Isn't it? Isn't the theme always super important for a game, John?
Well, yeah, we gotta win this game. We gotta win this.
This game's gotta win.
The theme is super important. Who doesn't want to build a town in Europe during the Italian Renaissance? Who doesn't want to be a prince?
Oh my, yeah, of course they do. They work less in Europe. They're less stressed out. Who doesn't want to be part of this laid-back culture?
That's it. And you're in Tuscany, so you're probably drinking a ton of wine.
Oh, yeah.
But there's no wine in this game, so...
Okay, so on that note, get a glass of wine and don't vote this game off. Don't vote off Castles of Tuscany. Thanks, everyone.
Keep Tuscany on. Keep Tuscany on.
See you.
I'll give you Windsor pizza.
All right, so I'm surprised that if we were in the competition still, I think Castles of Tuscany totally would not have been voted off right there.
Oh, yeah, no, 100%.
Clearly, it's the most thematic game ever created.
Yeah. Especially about drinking wine in Tuscany with no vineyards. I think that just makes sense.
Isn't that viticulture of drinking wine in Tuscany?
I think, yeah, isn't there is a Tuscany expansion, right?
Yeah.
So that's funny.
Can we just drink wine and play board games?
We could, yeah.
I don't drink anymore, so that'd be hard for me.
It should be on every board gamers list, though. Like, go to Tuscany and play one of these board games set in Tuscany while you've got a glass of wine.
You probably get weird looks, though. Everyone's staring
They're
at
like,
you.
oh, one of these guys again.
Yeah. Nerds. Get the
You
nerds.
go in there with Castle of Tuscany, you're like, where's this castle? I need to play this game in this castle. And everyone's looking at you like, what? Where are you from?
Yeah. They're like, they just ship you. They call the police. Polizia, get over here. All right, so how does everyone feel about Fort being voted off?
Fort's a good game, and we had a ton of fun playing. I know we played it a bunch because that was our first game we decided to stream with. We were doing Twitch, but I'm okay with it.
Okay.
I'm okay with it being off.
Okay.
I'm okay with it being off.
See, I voted to keep it. However, when you pit it against we were on the chopping block, I'm just happy it's them.
No, I feel a little bit the same as Julie, but I'm happy it got voted off. I do think it's a really interesting theme. It's a game that's on my list of games to play, but just because of that, we take that mechanics and also with the little guys, we were discussing the exclusivity and the theme. It's not something that I want in my collection. It's not something that I'd want really to play with him as he got older. I'd say that maybe in the future, and I really appreciate the way that Leader Games takes these different themes and different ideas and turns them into board games. And sure enough, it's true to life. I mean, we were all kids. We all had our own exclusive clubs, and the cool kids were in and people were excluded. But I mean, I think that's also just a little bit passe, and we're trying to change things. So I'm happy that it got voted off.
Nice.
Yeah, I really like, I said it earlier, I really love Aeon's End, and I'm glad it's, well, I guess like I had the ultimate decision, so I could have voted off whatever I wanted, but I wanted to see it keep going, because I think Aeon's End is a game everyone should play.
Right.
And it did hit the theme. Like, honestly, it's hard to tear down a game that's theme is basically built up from itself, whereas Fort takes it from real life. So it's an easier decision to be like, okay, well, I got to vote off Fort because it isn't really true to real life to me.
Right. I also think that the games left, it's going to be kind of harder and harder to make a decision.
Dude,
as we go on.
I'm dreading so far. You know what I said to myself? I'm like, I don't want to make another tie-breaking decision, and here we go.
That's the corner you painted yourself in.
I know. I should have just said we're gonna take the. I should have made you guys vote again. That's what I should have done.
No, that's okay. It's more fun this way.
Yeah, true. Okay,
Far
so
more stressful. Tension makes for good content.
it really does. All right, so Fort has been eliminated, and that leaves what? Rallyman GT, Aeon's End Outcasts,
And
and
Merv.
Merv.
Yeah.
Wow, some really meaty games left. So stick around for some chat with Jason and Julia from Dice and Dragons, or if you're done with us, tune in next Friday to hear what else gets eliminated. Boo-boo. So, okay, so Jason, Julie, what do you want to talk about?
Well, why don't we talk about our gaming spaces? I mean, that's something that you see a little bit of in pictures, but you don't ever get to see like the full grandeur. We're still working on ours, and I want to do a video. I don't think we've got the right setup for it because I'd be walking with an iPhone and be shaky cam, and I hate GoPro videos. That's just me. I don't like it. We'll find a way to do something with showing off the gaming space in the near future.
Yeah, I think I first noticed you guys on social media, and I may be lying when I say this, but when you guys got your new table with like the burnt in logo on the side of that bad boy, I think that's when I first I was like, oh, I like that table, and I started like noticing you guys more on my feed. How's that table working out for you?
I was gonna say that's Jason's pride. Well, it's our table, but it's his pride and joy. I mean,
Yeah.
he wanted it, and we worked to make that happen. It was a long time coming. It took a long time
Yeah, it
to get
took about a year to get the table, and Julie really helped me figure out what we wanted. I mean, the table was even more extravagant than when it was originally conceived, and we actually had fold out areas so everyone could have their own dice rolling area and things like that. But the cost of that just really wasn't feasible. There was also some custom stuff I wanted to get to play some tabletop RPGs potentially in the future, and just been realizing that the custom stuff really wasn't going to hold its value. It wasn't going to get used enough for the extra that we're going to be putting on the table. So we cut it down to really what we wanted to do. And I thought the logo was excessive, but she's the aesthetic one. She's got great taste. She was like, no, you're getting the logo burned into the table.
Hey, I'm a marketing person. In my daytime life, when I'm not reviewing board games, I'm in marketing. So of course we're going to put our brand on our table.
Yeah.
I agree. Honestly, that your logo burnt in it's very nice. It looks very beautiful on that table. So,
Yeah.
and you notice that. It's something you notice.
Yeah, but functionally, honestly, the reason I really like it is because we've got the inside space where we can put longer dungeon crawls or games that we play, campaign games. But then we can, put the leaves on the top of the table, and then we can play a game on the tabletop and not disturb the game below. So that gives us a little bit more flexibility, and it's been awesome.
We've been using it a lot as of late because Zombicide 2nd Edition was almost done, and the last 3 missions have taken us forever, so it's still set up on the table a month later.
So is your gaming table only for gaming? You'll not eat, you will not have a party and then people will eat on top of the table.
I think Jason will sweat because we got it during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So nobody but us has used it, but I can just see when we start having people over again how he's gonna start sweating when people are sitting around it.
Well,
Get your cups off the table. Get your cups off the table.
Well, we have the cup holder, so that should
Okay.
be good, but I can just imagine somebody coming with chip fingers to touch the felt or something.
That's me.
Yeah.
That's a nightmare. There's no Doritos or Cheetos during our game nights. You can have chips, but not those. We can tell you a horror
bag of
story about
Doritos.
that game night etiquette. Oh my god, it was the first time I was ever happy to have sleeves a game, and it was her game, Legendary X-Files, and I had to wipe the cards down afterwards just to give you an idea.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to we're in the process of thinking about putting an addition on our house. The housing market here in Windsor's insane. So it's cheaper to build onto your house than it is to buy a new one. So yeah, and in that, if we can do it, I'm supposed to get myself my own game room.
Nice.
So I'm pretty jazzed about that, because right now I just play on my kitchen table and I can't leave games set up. I've also got 2 kids. They would immediately destroy it. So I'm excited. So I'm looking at what kind of gaming tables I can get, see if I can throw that in that budget. That renovation budget.
I was talking with some people on the Board Games Reddit, other people that purchased from person. It was Wheatland Woodwork. They have a little talked about plywood option, which is very reasonably priced and looks really good. They posted a picture of their plywood table on our Board Games Reddit, so you can go try to check it out if you're interested.
Yeah.
But what I love about what he did with us, we went fully custom. We've got the leaflets. That's why we've got the pedestal base for the logo. It was mainly to store those in it. But what's really cool is that if the felt ever gets damaged, it's actually removable from the table. I could buy a custom cut neoprene mat or something and get it put into the table to replace it. So even if that gets worn down over time, we're gonna have options to protect it and still use it. So that's what I really like about it.
Nice.
But it's designed to be, we can eat on it, but we have to put all the leaflets in, and I'd still probably put like some type of plastic tablecloth over it just in case someone spilled, because I don't want it dripping through the cracks.
Oh
Or
my
you'd see
God.
me taking the felt out. Like I'd be like, no, this felt is coming out. We're gonna put it somewhere safe.
But we totally understand gaming on your kitchen table because, you know, when we started the channel, that's where our videos were filmed too, is at the kitchen table.
Yeah.
At the kitchen table with some jury rig light like camera thing, because we don't have the proper stuff. We're like, this should work, and it's like, wow, this is way more complicated than we ever thought it would be.
Actually, you're seeing my dungeon right now, right? You see like the cement walls and stuff. This is actually where we started gaming. I got this this is a pretty big table. I would say it's a bigger kitchen table. And we started, I think we had about like 6 people with us at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we would play 6 people in this room, and then started doing more pictures like social media. We're like, oh, I gotta like, not that I like wanted to upgrade, but I'm like, I kind of want like a nice like living room area. So my living room is like dual function. I have like 2 long IKEA tables, which we use for gaming / if we have like a lot of people over, we could fit maybe like 10 or 12 people around it pretty comfortably. So I want it to be kind of modular. It's not like a table, so you have to kind of like hunch down to touch everything. You know, it's on like a coffee table, so it's not as comfortable, but I think it does the trick.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. So that's my gaming space. I have it.
As long as you can sit a lot of people, because that's the biggest challenge. We're working on upgrading our gaming space. Unfortunately, some of our plans have went sideways. If you do follow us on Instagram, you may have seen the Dice and Dragons pub. So we've got our gaming space in the basement, so we're trying to build like a whole bar area in there as well, and get a TV so we can watch some stuff on YouTube. So if people come over and they don't know how to play the game, I can be like, well, I don't want to teach, so let's just put on the video. You can watch it live.
Let's put
Thankfully,
Rodney on.
TVs aren't expensive now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. True. You get like a 50-inch for like $300 now, so
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah, he keeps talking about the video game machine that he wants to put in the basement too. I'm like, I don't know where we're gonna put all. Like, we already got the cinema room in the basement right beside the gaming room and the popcorn machine, and now he wants that, you know, that video. What?
I want to get an arcade cabinet, like
Oh.
a 4-player, 10,000. Like that's the dream. That's my treat to myself if we have a great year. Like get one of those custom built arcade cabinets that can fit 4 players with 10,000 games. So, oh, you got eliminated from that game. Don't worry, go play some Street Fighter 2.
That's awesome. Yeah, those are space takers. There we go.
Yes.
Space takers.
Just because John was talking about the housing market, we got very lucky to decide to buy outside of the city. So we're just a little bit outside of Montreal. And put it this way, if we tried to buy it now, this house would be completely out of our price range, because it's like all of a sudden, because of the pandemic, people are like, I don't want to live in the city anymore. And now prices are just like going through the roof.
Yeah, that's why like our problem. People are moving from Toronto and moving down here, right? They sell their house in Toronto for a couple million, come down here, spend 500,000,
Buy a block, or they used to be able to buy a block.
Yeah,
now
like,
they can't buy anything.
You know, you get a nice paycheck and live off $1 million, or
Right,
something,
and then
right?
Windsor jobs actually don't pay a lot. So like we actually we do a lot of tool and mold for the auto industry. So those jobs don't actually pay a ton. So I actually feel bad for a lot of people because they're trying to find houses they can't really get anything they can afford. It's pretty sad.
Unless they can work remote, which I think that's what made the big change out here. Is we're not that far from downtown Montreal. You can drive if you need to, and it's still a very reasonable drive. But now that you can just telecommute, people want to live out here.
Yeah, that's me. I telecommute, so it's great. I love it. So hopefully I never go back.
So in your gaming areas, have you run out of board game space? Like, do you have to sell games, or do you still have room? Because Jason seems to have to sell games because, you know, we've run out of space.
On our storage spaces, yeah, I have a weird setup. So when we bought the house that we live in, the room that I store my games in came with like a floor to ceiling bookcase. And it spans like 6 shelves wide. We actually, it's weird. So we kind of like rotate things out. So we took some of the books out and we kind of put those away to make room for board games. But my wife started buying games for her job. So Board games are slowly taking over the shelves. She's going from the bottom up. I'm going from the top down. And the books are slowly leaving our collection.
So for me, I know the listeners can't see it, but behind me are those like industrial shelving storage units. So I actually have 2 of them, and then I have like 2 more shelves that are kind of off from what you two can see. And basically I store all my games there, but as I play them, I have 2 shelves over my sofas that I actually just rotate. So once I get about 8 to 10 games, I then take the bottom shelf, I move the bottom shelf to the top shelf, I move the top shelf to storage, and then I move all the games I played to the bottom shelf. So it kind of like helps my rotation. And I noticed that like board game boxes are beautiful.
Yeah.
Like they're so beautiful. I don't like showing them on the side. I like showing them like the front face. So it's kind of like art. And that's actually how I sold it to my wife. I'm like, honey, it's not going to be some stupid child's game. It's going to be like art. And then she's like, there's still like a sigh, but she's like, okay, fine. Can't argue.
So I tried when we have a bunch of calyxes from IKEA that, I mean, I don't even know how many we have now. There are quite a few of them.
We have 3 big ones, 1 medium, and then 2 small ones.
Oh.
So
The small one are the 4 cubes.
I had to, I mean, you see them for those who watch the channel. You can see behind us, there are front facing games. That's because the marketing person in me said to Jason, absolutely not. We are not going to put them like spines, like books.
Yeah.
They have to be front facing. They're beautiful. You can rotate them. But he's like, but I can fit more if I put it the other way. But it's not pretty. So I totally get it. There are some gorgeous boxes.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, like what I think you do this. You put the front facing boxes in front of like the games put sideways, right? Like when I watch your videos, that's what it looks like.
They're
to
on the
me.
top. So where your eye's gonna be drawn, like above us, is all the front-facing games,
Right.
and then like the lower shelves, we have everything organized on the side. Because it'd just be a little weird if you're like looking next to me, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's a pretty picture, you know?
All right, do you guys organize alphabetically or by
With me?
publisher or by color?
Yeah, let's start with Julie.
See, I worked at a bookstore. I worked at Chapters for like 10 years.
Wait, hold on.
So-
Hold on. Press pause. I like how you called it chapters because I love chapters.
Yes.
And for the American listeners, what would that be like?
Barnes and
Barnes and
Noble.
Noble. Okay.
Barnes
there
and
we go.
Noble. Yeah. So you guys can't see, but behind me are a bunch of bookshelves with books right now because we're taking this from our office. And my books are all alphabetized by author. And Jason's books are just by series, by type, by fantasy, and that's how he does the games. I can never find anything. I say, where is such and such a game? And it's like, oh, it's beside this. And he knows exactly. And I'm curious. So now please answer. How do you sort them? Because my brain can't figure out what your brain has sorted.
So, because board games are not a uniform size like books. So,
Right,
doing
right.
something alphabetically, unless you want to just waste a ton of space or do really specific custom storage, it doesn't work. You just can't do it. So, I've got everything really organized more by like series, and then I've got them like in certain areas where I want front-facing games, so I keep everything near to each other. So all of our like Arkham Horror themed stuff are nearby. All the Marvel games are in one area. There's a couple of areas where the games are a little bit more random, but I know that's like my more random shelf. And then other than that, it's like, okay, I get Zombicide. I'm going to try to keep all the Zombicide games together, or at least that series together. Like TMNT is like one big chunk of our shelf. So it's not the easiest organization system, but because I know roughly where everything is, I'm able to find it. And I think that's just kind of what you've got to do, because you've got a box that sometimes is a long coffin box, and you're like, why did anyone ever put a box like this out there? It doesn't fit anywhere. And then sometimes you've got these tiny little boxes that are like 5x5, and you're like, I hate this thing. It just doesn't fit
Anywhere,
Or you
yeah.
go to that last spot on your shelf, you're like, I can cram it in, and it's like a centimeter too big. Yeah, that's right. We're Canadian. I'm saying centimeters. Get over it. It just doesn't fit. It's hard to sort board games in any way that makes any
It
sense.
is. I have mine alphabetically. It doesn't work very well. I did do it by color, but I hated it. Like, you know how that the home edit, do it in like the rainbow color.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had it like that. I hated it. So it's kind of just a big mess right now.
Okay. So I have a fun thing going on right behind me. So my shelf is actually organized behind me.
Mhm.
It is?
It is.
Okay.
Can anyone guess how?
It looks alphabetically because I see
Publisher.
Clank and then I see Pret-a-Porter towards the end.
Nope, that's not alphabetically.
Yeah.
I have it like there's games that I consider everyone can play, so I put those all together because like if I have people over who aren't really into those heavy games, then I know what to pick from. And then right here are like my favorite games. So right above me are my favorite games. So you can see Root, Dinosaur Island. I'm not plugging them. And then below that are more of my favorite games, but not as favorited as those. And then these are games I've only played once or twice. I need to play again to decide if I'm going to keep them. Tapestry's just there because Tapestry is a huge game. And then I'm moving. You can't, obviously, the listeners can't see it, but then these shelves are either Kickstarter games or previews or reviews or games I need to get rid of or games I want to sell or games we need to use for giveaways.
Speaking of giveaways and giving the inside scoop to Friday Night Games, because we haven't talked about this anywhere at this point in time, is through pure chance.
I can't do a drum roll. I only have one pen in my hand.
How's that? So pure chance. It's not supposed to happen. So if you do wonder why we have a copy for giveaway, this was not supposed to happen. I've said it enough times. We have a giveaway copy of the upcoming expansion. So depending on when this is released, it might be really close to coming out for Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig, Soirees, Secrets and Soirees. I knew there was another one in there. So that takes the game up to 8 players. You can also play versus with solo castles, so you will no longer have to be cooperating if you don't want to. And it adds a whole ton of variety and new room types to the game. I think it just kind of fully fleshes out all of the options. You get a really cool plastic insert that actually fits perfectly in the existing box, which I thought was just absolutely fantastic. And yeah, so it's from Stonemaier Games. Big thanks to Jamie for letting us do this, because we did have a shipping accident and we got an extra copy. So it's not a normal giveaway. This is very much an exceptional situation. And he asked me to say it a lot of times, just to be clear with everyone. So we're good. Let's move on.
Yeah, he doesn't want anyone to ask for giveaway games.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
so.
he does. Yeah, I think it says it right on his like website too, or
Yeah.
something. Like, yeah, I know he doesn't do giveaways, so
Right.
that's really cool. That's
a happy accident.
That
That's a
happy
really
accident.
happy-
Bob Ross painted a little picture along your shipping route. So if you like what you hear, don't forget to follow us on your favorite streaming platform. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. You can follow us on Instagram at FridayNightGames_official, Twitter at FridayNightGMS, and on our website, FridayNight.Games. And again, I'm John.
And I'm Matt.
And it's Friday night, so let's have some fun.
Thanks, everyone.